Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the stream. I see we've got quite a few handful of viewers already. And good morning to Thunder and to George and McTrying and Rab, guys. Welcome.
No audio in.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, you're broadcasting me again, Mac.
No, I've cut it. It's all right.
Okay, I need to go and see. I don't know why this thing does it. It's dropped my default audio again, but I'm not in X-Plane, so you're not going to hear any engine or aircraft or sim noises at this point in time. We'll start X-Plane way later today. Mac, sorry, I had to ask you that question. I was obviously half asleep. I couldn't understand what you were trying to tell Zibo there, but thanks for that. That makes sense. So you say it's fixed, that last thing?
Yeah. I've checked it out.
Okay.
And 10 is showing okay.
All right, 100%. Cool. Right, so, ladies and gentlemen, the purpose of the stream I actually got from Discord this morning. A couple of guys and I were talking about the flight planning phase and how I actually use the VA and so on, and how to get the flight going. So each and every person involved in the VA have obviously, looked at the situation and they've now created a little procedure for themselves. So what I'm going to show you today is not cast in stone. This is not what I expect from you. It's just how I do it. All right. So I've done a few other tutorials before many months ago about flight planning and all these things. For the clarity and the purpose of the virtual airline, the Skymatix Virtual Airline, I'm simply going to show you how I do it, and if you find value to it, and if you pick up on something, great stuff. And if you've got questions, then now is obviously the time to really get stuck into it and start asking the questions, and let's see that we can make it as easy as possible for you guys to join the VA. So for the guys that are not familiar with the Skymatix VA, I want to tell you, feel free to join. There is no rules that's going to make you not like the VA. We do not create a second job for you, or a third or a fourth job, depending on who you are. We don't expect you to fly once a month. We expect you to fly once in 3 months. If you go on leave, which the system will put you on, the next time you book a flight, you're just going to be back. So it's all automated. There's only really one rule, and that is if you book a 738 or an A320, you've got to fly those aircraft. You can't go and fly a 747 or an A340, and then stay 15 hours in the air, beat everybody on the leaderboard, and, cheat, basically. Now, I say cheat loosely because I don't want to point fingers to people who have done it, and I don't want them to feel bad. Things changed and evolved behind the scenes. So we've disabled the long haul flights and we've disabled the long haul aircraft. Okay, so I think when the itch is there for people to fly, the long haul stuff, it's best that you don't really do it through the VA. If I can ask you guys that, not to be funny, it's just a lot of the guys flying exclusively Zibo or exclusively Flight Factor or Tollus, the small little C-class aircraft, they get upset when they have to compete against somebody flying one flight 15 hours. So that's that. That's about the only rule. If you want to, you can do manual PyReps. You can also use the ACARS. The ACARS works on PC only. So just bear that in mind. If you are on a Mac or you fly Linux, then you'll have to do a manual PyRep. We're not very strict, guys. We are here to have fun. And if you want to use the VA and its database of almost 5,000 flights that is available, you can fly all over the world and just enjoy yourself. And you can also suggest new routes to add. And then between me and Uncle John and whoever else is involved, we can start loading some of your routes if it doesn't exist anymore. So that's just the background. I want to encourage everybody to take a chance. You do not have to fly on LIEO, on VATSIM, on Pilot Edge, or any network. As long as you have an internet connection and you can be tracked, you can fly in the leisure of your own study or your own bedroom. You don't have to talk to ATC. It's not required. This is really for fun. The fact that we get involved with the networks and get ATC and all is our fun. That's the next step, the next level, and that's how we do it. So, any questions so far?
I was just going to add that, Nico, your VA is obviously providing a service that some people like because, for example, I can quote you that in the last 5 hours, 17 PIREPs have been submitted.
That's excellent. That is absolutely excellent. Yeah, I think it's got something for everybody, Mac. I'm going to quickly drag this onto the screen here. Let's quickly go have a look, see if we have any PIREPs waiting to be allowed into the system. Nope, there's nothing pending, so we can just go back to where we want to be. All right, yeah, so I'm glad if you guys find value in the system. There are a couple of ways to obviously get your flights. We can go to operations and flights, and then you can literally type in whatever airport you want. If it's in the database, it will come up. What's it, LGKR then? Yeah. Sometimes I mix the numbers up. All right, so we can search on it, and you have to now add a bid. All right, I'm just going to take the bid out and just put the bid back. The reason we do bids is very simple. You can build your own itinerary, your own flight roster. I can literally now go to that airport again. I can search it through there and I can specify a route, or I can literally click on the airport. So we're going to fly into Corfu. So if we want to fly out of Corfu, if we want to keep the flight going point to point, then we get a map and we can literally now see where we can fly to. So that's another destination. So we can go on to Kos, we can go on to Sofia, and we can even go to Rotterdam from our destination. So if you click on the red line, you can now select the flight. I'm going to go for Kos because it's easier to get a shorter flight. So it's LGKR, LGKO. You click on the little hyperlink. This is your flight, and you can simply add the bid. All right, so if you go to the bids page, it should take us there now. Now you can see I'm busy building a little itinerary for me and myself. Okay, the bids stay in place for either 8 days or until such time as I add additional flights into the database. For some reason, when we add additional flights, it's like it clears the cache. It doesn't remember them anymore. Then you just build them again. No skin off our backs. Not that difficult, you see. So once you are here, a couple of things come into play. I'm just going to drop this just to refresh your minds a little bit. You can click on the up-down arrow. This will give you the actual route. It also gives you the alternate. It gives you a suggested flight level. Yes, Mac? Okay. I think you just sighed there. Okay. If you need something, just shout, Mac.
No, I didn't say a word.
Yeah, no, I can hear you make a noise. I thought you wanted to say something. That's all.
Sorry.
No worries, no worries. So guys, this is a suggested flight level. Nobody's going to hold you to it. This is a suggested route. What you are not allowed to change is the departure, the destination, and these numbers. All right. The first one is your flight number. This is your IATA stuff. This is your ICAO stuff. Just leave it alone. The moment you change that, we're going to reject the PIREP, and it's just because the system doesn't know where to put it. You messed with it. It's not a flight that's recognized, so it's gone. Okay. Over here, it gives you an estimated block time. All right. In other words, from the time you start to prepare until the time that you land and switch the engines off. That's the block time, basically. All right. So it just gives you an indication of the time required to fly there. It tells you the nautical miles. There's no special flight notes for this route, and over here you can obviously see all the aircraft that is allowed on this route. So you can see we've got quite a selection. The 737-800 single class, that's for Zibo. There's your JAR design A310. We've got the 737-300, the exec, 600, 700, and 800 deal class. I beg your pardon. Yeah, that's sorry, that is true. The dual class, that's also a Zibo. Then we've got the A330 has been disabled. So even if it's in the list, I just didn't update the list. Unfortunately, we're going to have to look at that in the future. There's your Taurus 319, the PMDG 738, or NGXU, whatever you want to call it, your Flight Factor A320, the 900 Ultimate, and the Airbus A321. So these are the allowed aircraft, and like I say, we'll update that one in time, but it's all been disabled. You can't choose the A330 anymore anyway. Right, your next port of call will be the little I. If you click on the eye, it actually shows you the map, and what is important here is it gives you the weather, so you can look at your METAR. You can also then look at the METAR for the arrival. And I'll tell you why this is important, especially for me, because this is about me and the way I do my my planning. Is I take this page and I use the information given here in the METARs, and then I literally go to, let me just move this thing. I go to my desktop charts. I'm going to move it to the other screen. All right. Flying Scotsman, you can choose anyone. It's irrelevant. We do not use that system. Unfortunately, it's part of the base PHP VMS package, so it's a given. You just pick one. The moment you do your first flight, or the moment you go to the first page. Let me also show you the first page here quickly. Let's close this. The moment you go to your dashboard, right, you can change your destination over here, travel, jump, you can move anywhere. But the moment you file a flight plan and you actually land at an airport, the moment you land there and you file your PIREP, it will automatically change your home airport, basically. I think in the future, if Mako and Disposable Hero and Nabil actually get to implement things like that in a more detailed fashion, we can talk about it again. Right now, it doesn't matter. All right, so I'm going to use the information here, and this will be like step 2. So step 1 was to actually go and get the flight. Step 2 was to click on the little I just to see all the information, so we can, you know, utilize the weather for flight planning. So okay, in desktop charts in Navigraph, I then typically go and I open the charts. I go find the airport chart first of all. It's about understanding the airport, where you are at, and then in certain circumstances, especially the bigger airports, you typically are going to read through the briefings. All right, and the reason you read through the briefings is to get their SOP, because I mean, in all honesty, I don't know these airports. You might probably not know them, but there could be a huge mountain on the one side, and they will actually tell you in the airport chart or in the briefing that you can only take off from one side. There's just no other way. You can't take off from the other side because you're going to fly into a mountain, and this is why you need to read these kind of things. Also, like for Dublin as an example, they always use runway 28 left for takeoff until the tailwind component reaches 10 knots. All right, and you need to understand those kind of things. You need to understand the SOP. So I keep all of that in the back of my mind, but at this point in time, I'm literally now looking at the METAR, and I'm looking at the winds, and it says 080 at 3 knots. The moment you get 6 knots or below, it literally means winds calm. All right, I can take off from 23, I can take off from 05. And it doesn't matter, it's literally winds calm. So again, we'll look at the SOP. And Flying Scotsman, who was asking that about the SOP? Who's that? Christer. SOP stands for Standard Operating Procedure. All right, so thanks for asking, Christer. Exactly, Scotsman. Now you've understood the principle there. It's all about the principle, right? So in this case, there's nothing. I read through this before. I know there's absolutely nothing preventing me taking off runway 5 or 23. I think the next step, I'm going to show you the next step. We're still talking about the airports, is to put the flight plan in here according to what the VA says. That will give you an indication of what the in brackets would be preferred takeoff runway because of the way the actual flight route is depicted. Okay, so let's go continue. We're still looking at the airports. We've got the first one. We're going to grab the second one. We're going to go to taxi, find the airport layout, and we're going to go through a similar thing. We're going to see if there's any particular issue that would prevent us from using whatever runway. Now, this is a typical example of first-hand knowledge. I've been there before. I've had the pleasure of landing and taking off runway 34 and 16. I know that there is a little set of hills just behind 16. All right. And it's not really good to try and land from 16. The preferred runway to land is going to be 34. All right. Again, we can obviously go read through all of these things. I'll tell you another way to spot it as well. I don't think there are any specific mentions. You see, in your briefing, there's no specific mention that says to you you're not allowed to use runway 16. But like I say, I know that there's a set of little hills there, and it is extremely more difficult to land on runway 16 than it is on 34. So our preferred runway in this instance is going to be 34. Okay, so that gives me a little bit of a mental picture already of what I should look out for, etc., etc. Okay, so we're going to just quickly kill that. I'm going to bring this back on screen. Now what I do from here on is I'm going to copy this route as it is there. All right. I'm going to go to type route, and I'm simply going to paste it in there and save it. Alright, so now this little puzzle is busy being built a little further. Okay, so we know that runway 23 is there and it's going to take off that way. And we know runway 5 is down here and it's going to take you off that way. So if we just use a little bit of, logic, we can basically say, okay, let's go for runway 5. So we've chosen the runway 5. And then we're going to look at what is given as a takeoff procedure. All right, our departure. Now, in this airport's instance, for some reason, 7A is actually listed as a departure when we go and we look at the charts. I'm going to show you what I mean just now. So if we go to the SIDS, you'll see there, BATOX 7A, which is this one that we got there, BATOX 7A, is actually listed as a departure, whereas the 6A is not specified. Hang on, there's a different one. No, but that's not the same one. All right, there's a 6A, it's not the same one. If we go to the BATOX, I think it's that one. That's the generic one. So I'm a bit scared of the generic one. I don't know what it's going to do to me. Whereas this is now, I don't know whether it's newer or better. I don't know. It's just singled out. Okay, so in my mind, if I go and look at the chart, and guys, you'll always see me pin them, so I can have easy reference at the bottom. You see they sit here in the bottom. When you pin them, click on the pin. This obviously shows me there's a 7A and a 7B, and it goes out to where I want it to go. So much of a muchness, I think. I don't want to get too deep into the ifs and the buts and the whys and the why nots. I prefer to use this one because it's singled out. That one, if we go there, it's kind of not the right one, and we need to go to that one. Right, so it's also there. I don't know, Mac, what do you think?
Well, that's showing you both departures taken off both ways from the runway, Nika.
Yeah.
The other one is definitive purely for that particular departure.
Yeah. Okay, so just to make things easy, because that one is definitive, I'm just sticking to that one. So I'm going to take the 7A. This just makes my life easier, to just go and choose one that's defined. All right, a proper defined one. right? So like I say, I pin it at the bottom. So if I click quickly, shortcuts to get to my charts, then I don't have to go and worry about finding them, searching them again. Right, so the next step is now going to this side. Right, we've already talked about the SOP. We've talked about the little range of the little hills there. The one thing we have not spoken about is obviously the weather. All right, so that's your weather and your METAR. So it says 260 at 2 knots. Again, it's winds calm. We can take any runway, but we know that 34 is the preferred runway at this point in time. So what we're going to do, in fact, I'm going to start today on this side, and I'm going to go for an RNAV. You guys obviously know that you can click on the little eye and it will give you the different approaches, right? So I obviously have a lot of experience, and I know that one of these ones will be a nice one to come in on the side. So we've got the brown one, which is the RNAV 34. Then we've got the NDB one, and we've also got the VOR one. So it's up to you if you want to do NDB, VOR, or RNAV. Me, in my instance, I'm going to go for RNAV on 34, and we're going to use that transition, the BATOX transition over there. Come. All right, so BATOX, that's what we want. Now, if we go back here and we look at the approaches, you see all of these ones are potentially usable for us. All right, so what we're going to do is NOST one, as we'll work through them quickly. So let's go to the arrival. Just want to zoom out a little bit. Okay, well, that's one option. It clearly connects that point and that point. It's got a little bit of an arc. That's a possibility. We don't mind. That one, the one Romeo, is actually just maybe a little bit easier. It's more direct. So I'm just going to show you the other ones. There's also a little bit different, and yet again a little bit different. So that'll take you more onto finals. I think I like that one, Romeo. Alright, so it says that it can't show it from this menu. We'll pick it up. There we go, show chart window, and then we're just going to pin it. Just make sure it's at the bottom as well. Alright, it's obviously dropped the approach, so we just need to go back to the RNAV, select the RNAV, and there you go. We're going to quickly pin that as well. And there you go. We're going to come in there. We're going to go onto finals. I also know from experience it's a little bit of an offset at the end, so there is a point where you physically have to take over at your MDA and you have to fly this aircraft down yourself. Okay, so just be aware of that. Alright, so we've got this one has been pinned, we've got that one, we've got the actual airport itself. We don't need that, we want that one. Alright, so we're going to land runway 34 and taxi onto the apron over there. Okay, so this basically takes care of the whole flight planning for me. And one of the extra additional reasons I want to tell you why I do it in the charts and why I complete the complete flight planning situation here is because when I do my export from here, I go put it into Explain 11. Just going to replace that one. It's an older file. So the reason I do this is when you export from Navigraph desktop charts and you import it into the company route in the Zibo, it includes the SIDs and the stars and the transitions for you already. So if you are new and if you are not familiar with how to determine these things beyond just visually, like I've just shown you, that's dynamite. It's a win-win situation. It will give it to you already, and you don't have to go and play guessing games when you are in the aircraft. It just makes it a bit easier. All right. Now, we've done the programming in the desktop charts. We've got the SIDS, the stars, the actual route. We've exported that, so it's ready to be taken into, but we still have not filed or done anything with this information in the VA. And this is why we are here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the entire flight plan. We click on type route, go there, copy it, and we can actually close this. We don't need that anymore. We're bringing this one back, and what we want to do is we obviously want to go to our bids, and we're going to say create the flight create summary flight plan, and we're going to go and pick one of the aircraft. Let's take TDX, why not? Proceed to flight.
Nico,
Yes.
I found the issue I had not able to edit my flight plan. I was doing that in Firefox, and it happens to be that when I perform the action in Edge, it is working.
Okay. So yeah, I'm also using Edge just for information. It could be that Firefox has got some other blocker on some of the little scripts or something, you know. So yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I've investigated that one. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Thank you. Hello, Papino, and welcome. Right, so we've done the dispatch now, or we're in the dispatch page. I beg your pardon, talking nonsense. We're in the dispatch page. This is the same page. It just looks different, but it's exactly the same page that you will get if you go to SimBrief itself. Okay, so don't let the way it looks fool you. This obviously includes a little bit more information because it already gives you the number of passengers, it already gives you your estimated payload, but everything on this page is literally a replica of what you get in SimBrief. So there's no reason, no point really to go into SimBrief because this page will talk with SimBrief. I'm going to leave it on the screen. You'll see exactly what I mean. So for me, what I now do, as you can see, there is the flight plan, but it does not contain SID and stars. So what I do is I just paste everything in there. Now, obviously, that is your departure airport ICAO and the runway number. So what I then do is I specify my runway number there. And I go and delete this because it's done. We don't need it. There you can see that's your SID. BATOX 7 Alpha. Then we go do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to use runway 34. We specify runway 34, and then I simply go and delete that. And there we have the actual standard terminal arrival, your star. Alright, if you're flying online, please make sure that you put your time a little bit into the future, which I'm just going to extend with 30 minutes obviously now because that is going to be 7:30 p.m. my time. It gives me an hour before the flight plan needs to be amended on the IVO network. Alright, now the one thing that you can do if you want to change this, and I should have said it earlier, but you can press F5. Every time you press F5 it will give you a different load. Okay, the other way of doing this is once we've done the dispatch, you can physically go and edit it, and I'm purposely going to show you that route because it's more what's the right word? You are guaranteed to get what you want compared to this guessing game that you're playing by pressing F5. Okay, so I'm going to show you that again, and I'm going to point the little factors out that we learned in the last stream where I tried to do that. If you go onto the right hand side, I need you guys to look at this. I've seen a few complaints on Facebook in the last couple of days in various groups. People run out of fuel or people manually add extra fuel. There are a couple of things that I would recommend. Okay, our cost index is 20. We don't care for that. If you click on the little button there, it tells you the policy of the company. All right, so you can check it out if you forget. We use 20 normally, but now this is where the contingencies and the reserve fuel come in. The reserve fuel, 30 minutes, is the ICAO default. What that means is at an altitude of 1,500 feet, 1,500 feet above the destination airport, you need to be able to hold for 30 minutes. And this is what that means. So by selecting 30 minutes there, it literally gives you the ability to hold above your destination airport for 30 minutes. Okay, very important. It's an ICAO standard. The contingency fuel is something that you can set any which way you want. All right, 5%, 15 minutes minimum. This will obviously go through to SimBrief. It will change your OFP, give you extra fuel, all these kind of things. You can literally set it over there. All right, you can set it in minutes, you can set it in percentage or minutes. I like the percentage or minutes because the system is clever enough to understand what happens. Remember, behind the scenes, we linked the Zibo profile, and in fact, most of these aircraft profiles now are tuned to almost perfection, if not perfection, behind the scenes. So it's easy enough to come and check something here, or even leave it on auto, and the system will work something out for you. So I'm going to go back to 5%, 5 minutes. Then what is important here is you can suggest a flight level. Now, I sometimes, when I feel like it, take my active sky, I go and load the flight plan, and I can play with it. I mean, I know I'm flying east, so I suppose we're going to have an odds. I know it's going to be an hour and a bit that I'm going to fly, so I can go 350. I can click on refresh, go to my briefing, and then I can actually see in the briefing, if that's the correct flight altitude or the best flight altitude. If it's not, it will tell me this and that flight altitude will be better because of a headwind component or something that's different. Okay, and then you can adjust it. So if you want to do it manually, I've just selected 350. All right, and I can then type in 350 and dispatch it. Or if you want SimBrief to do this exercise for you, go look at the weather it's got at its disposal. We can simply go and you start by disabling and then enabling. It's a bit of a toggle, unfortunately, a little glitch there, but nothing we can do about it. So when step climb is enabled, you see it's grayed out. You can't change anything there. SimBrief will literally now go and suggest a flight level for you. All right. The big trick is to learn to read the OFP so that you know whether it's talking about a step climb. A lot of guys have been caught in the VA where SimBrief gives them an initial altitude of 19,000, but the actual cruise level is 350 because there's a step climb involved. So just guys, be careful with that one. I'm going to leave it at 350 because I know that's what we want. And then I'm going to quickly look at the questions and stuff. Paul, glad you're back, man, and I'm glad you enjoy it. Hope there are plenty more that we can share with you. So, yeah, thanks for joining us again. All right, what I'm going to do now, we've put the 3.5 in. For us, it's okay. We're not going to change any of the units. If you guys want to fly in pounds, please take note. This is where you change it, the stuff that you want to see in your printout at the end. Everything is toggleable. You can switch it on and off, enable, disable, and so on. Give me a second, guys. Kids. Right, okay, so I'm going to click on generate the dispatch. I'm going to show you our system literally now talks with SimBrief. It's just as good as if you are in SimBrief. Maps temporarily disabled. Please use the full website if you want maps. We don't care. I'm not going to bother with it. It's obviously under pressure, so we're not worried about that. And there you go. There it's dispatched. All right. If you click on display OFP, that is your actual, and we use the LIEO format. This is the actual dispatch sheet that comes from SimBrief. Okay, if you click on the dispatch information, Shaneke, do you really have to interrupt me now? Okay, hold on. Sorry, guys. Right. So let's quickly pick up again. The normal dispatch information. Here we have a summary. You can obviously use this. There's your flight plans and stuff. ATC flight plan. It's a nice summary. Me personally, I go to display OFP and I will show you step by step how I use it, because that's the point of the whole video. So if you want to go to flight maps, as you saw earlier, somebody said, sorry guys, I'm under pressure, can't give it to you. And that's fine. We're going to skip that. But under normal circumstances, you'll see all the normal Simbri flight maps, weather, all those things, your elevation profiles, everything will be displayed here. And then over here, we've got the weather. And what makes this website nice of ours is I'll show you just now, we can go a little bit deeper into everything. So for the planning phases, this is really good. So for instance, we've got 18 degrees at Corfu. So if I want to quickly start filling in the Isa deviation, we can put 18 in there already. If we go to Navigraph, there you will see everything that I did with you on the outside of the website is now inside the website. I can go quickly pick up on the altitude. It's 5 feet. And I just quickly change it. So I know preliminary speaking for this time. And while that temperature is active, that will be the ISA deviation we're going to put into our destination forecast page. All right. Every time you click on a little button, it's just going to hide it for you again. All right. So this is really handy to help me just set that up quickly. Exactly, Scotsman. You can do everything from here. You'd never ever have to open SimBrief again. All the transactions get sent from here to there and then get sent back. We've got a special API interface with SimBrief that is allowing us to do this. So it's as if you are in SimBrief when you use this. Something else that you guys can also obviously use, I didn't show it to you on the previous page, I should have shown it to you, but we do have this facility as well. So if you guys are still new and well, even I use it, it's got really nothing to do with new, but this is great for new guys, okay? You can physically click on your METAR for your departure, and there's your METAR as well, and it also gives you a suggestion of runway 23 should be used. Okay, now I think I went for 5 because again, look, it's winds calm. This is a much of a muchness, really. You can't change it here, but this is a suggestion, so it could help you in your flight planning. At the arrival over here, you can see the wind is blowing almost directly this way, so 3-4 is definitely the one to use. 16 is incorrect there, but it gives you a bit of the wind comes from the front, and you know we always take off and land into the wind kind of a situation. There's 0 winds, and I think it just takes 16 just for the heck of it. Yeah, near Axine. Okay, bye. Anyway, okay, so this is just a bit of a tool that you can also use in conjunction with Navigraph when you start setting up. I showed you that previous picture. I'm obviously capable of reading the METAR and making my own decisions, but if you need a little bit of help, and trust me, even I do, so there's no shame in that. It's nice to have a visual representation just to show you the wind a little bit better. All right, if you want to, you can see the alternate as well. It will show you there. You know, one of the nice things, okay, let me just quickly touch on that. One of the nice things with this system is if there is a significant tailwind or crosswind, it actually shows you. See there, we've got a 2-knot crosswind on this runway. All right. So when you talk about, let's go back to Dublin. The tailwind component, if it exceeds 10 knots, you change your runway, right? But when you see in the METAR, let's say the METAR says 28, let's make it 200. Let's make it 200 at 12 knots or 150 at 12 knots. Your instinct says, oh, but it's 12 knots coming from the other side, you know. That does not mean a tailwind component. The tailwind component is broken down into sections, and that's where this one will come in handy, because even if the METAR says 12 or 15, the actual tailwind component might be 8 or 9, which still makes runway 28 left active. So it's just all visual cues and stuff to help you guys understand what it's about. Thank you, Terence. Thanks for joining us. So again, it's just all fancy, nice to have stuff. At this point in time, a couple of things can now happen, and I want to show you. If we want to edit the OFP, specifically, I'm now speaking to the guys doing this dangerous high altitude tour that we gave you guys just now. We said to you a few times verbally now, do not go into those airports heavy. Don't try and take off when you're heavy. Don't try and land when you're heavy. The density altitude when you are landing at 16,500 foot is totally different to when you're landing at sea level. All right, and one of the things we then said is go click on edit the OFP. So the moment we click on edit, here you can see this is the actual SimBrief website. It opens for you. It literally takes you in SimBrief, and now there's a couple of things that you can do here. Okay, the first thing, and I still don't know why it tricked me the other day, but please make sure that you stay on the actual airframe that you are trying to use, because there is a whole list of these guys, and in one of the previous streams it really messed us about. So we know we're on the Zibo 189 seater. We're going to leave that. Now what you're going to do is you're going to change your load. You're going to click on whatever load of passengers you want. So we're going to say 60. For instance, we can leave the cargo. I'm not worried about that. But you can change the cargo. You can change the passengers. You can literally then go back up. Once you've made your changes, you can click on generate the flight. It will bring up that famous little window again. You'll see the green bar run. It will dispatch it as, you can see this is the actual SimBrief page, right? So it's going to look exactly like you know it. The difference is when you are done, once you have regenerated, and you have to regenerate this flight plan, is you then click on download updated OFP and close. It will then close this window for you. Now I'm not going to do that. I just wanted to show you. So if you end up by sheer chance, let's say the system, let's say the system gave you 180 passengers and, I don't know, let's make it 1.8 tons of cargo. We just said you can't use it on a very short runway or a high altitude runway. It's not going to work for you. So I would then recommend come back here, go down, choose 143 or something below 150 for that tour. That tour specifically needs to be 150 or less. Change your cargo. Click generate. Once the generation has happened, you download an update here at the bottom. This page goes away, and magically everything here in this whole OFP changes to the one that you wanted. Okay, so we first of all, from the VA side, give you a suggestion. If that's not good enough for whatever reason, and we don't know, we're not in control of how the system really hands out that load for that flight, because it's really random. This is the way to really just update it, fix it to make it work for you. All right, from this point onwards, I will then click that little button, plan ATC to IVAO. You can see you can do it to VATSIM. You can also get the stuff in SkyVector. Not worried about that. This takes me to the actual pre-filing of the flight plan on IVAO. Or if, like I say, for instance, you were now flying on VATSIM, it will bring up the VATSIM page that does the same thing. So what you need to do is you need to check the altitude. That's very important. And you need to check the departure time. Departure time needs to be in the future. And the flight level that you file for the online network needs to be your final cruise level. So if we go look at this, this thing, you see there, it says 350. If we go back to the IVAO flight plan, it says 350. But I mentioned to you earlier, if you fly here in Europe, you'll see it a lot. It will start you out at 19,000. So flight level 190, and it will have a couple of steps in there to go find the top one, and then obviously just book it. Okay, and when you are happy with the times and with the call sign, because that's very important, I want to show you this as well. In the VA, the call sign that you get will be your TIX number. Let me go find it for you quickly. Profile. There. So that number, your identification, this is your account number in the website. It comes with an additional 0 because we felt when we created the VA, we don't want to limit it to 999 pilots. You know, we wanted more. But unfortunately now it takes that whole number, pushes it through onto this aircraft identification, your call sign basically, and it will then obviously have an additional 0. So all you do is go take out 10 because now when you connect onto the network, your altitude client and that number and your altitude identification in there, I'll show you later, it needs to be the same number. If there's a mismatch between these numbers, altitude will not find your flight plan. So it's very important. Scotsman, you don't have to fly on any of the networks. That is optional. Us guys who have been flying for many years find it stimulating. It's the next step we took. It's nice to have the real thing or closer to the real thing. But you do not have to fly on any network and speak to any ATC guy when you fly for the VA. The VA is between you and your lonesome self and us guys here on Discord if you want to come and join us. There's no obligation to fly on any network. So you literally, you know, go to your PC, your internet should be on because it needs to track the flight, but that's it. There's nothing else needed. Okay, so I'll show you the ACARS and things in a short while as well, and then just talk you through that as well. Okay, so once this is done, all we do is we submit the flight plan in iVeo. In iVeo, I always just archive my previous flight plan. I don't want it to get confused when I do the connection later. So TIX 001 instead of TIX 0001, we're going to use that call sign, and that needs to match in the client later. I'll show you. 100% Scotsman, and you obviously know that you can come and ask questions and come and talk to us here. Anybody else who feel led to actually try this, feel free guys, there's no obligation. We have a lot of guys who signed up very quickly and they just disappeared. They fizzled out over time. And if some of you are listening and watching this video, please come back guys. There's no obligation other than the ones I said already, and just come talk to us. We'll help you get going. All you need to do is just file one flight, it will automatically reinstate you. It's not a big problem. Okay. While we are here, I just want to quickly also tell you, if you feel, hey, you know what, I'm not interested in this flight anymore, let's start over, you can literally click on generate a new OFP. It can then take you back to the beginning. You choose a new flight, do the bid, then do the sim brief thing, and it will bring you back here with a new flight. Then if you guys are on Mac or Linux, you obviously need this page, you need this information, you need to go and do your flight, right? When you are done, and because you do not have ACARS, click on the pre-file PyRep. I don't know why Maker called it pre-file, but anyway, it's the PyRep. This is where you file your PyRep. The moment you do this, it takes you to the PyRep page, and you can manually fill in the amount of block fuel that you had, the amount of fuel that was burned, the altitude you flew, the amount of passengers and cargo that you carried. There's a couple of things that you need to tell the system to verify that you really did the flight. And you just submit the PyRep, and then one of the moderators or myself will go and, you know, just award it to you later on. Just allow it to go through into the system to log it. It's a pity that Ivan does not work on Mac. Guys, I'm pretty sure, sorry, Paul, I'm pretty sure that iVeo works on Mac. I'm pretty sure it does. Hold on, let's go have a look. Alright, sorry, I clicked the wrong button. I don't want to go there. I want to just open a new one. Now, yeah. Let's quickly have a look, see. My daughter loves talking with me when I'm live on air, guys. Just now I'm going to ask her to do us a song and dance here. Will you sing and dance, Isa? She doesn't want to do that. Okay, let's quickly have a look, Paul. So if we go to resources and we go to software beta, there's the pilot client. There you go. Altitude for Mac OS. Okay, so IVEO will definitely work for Mac. You must just go and install it. The thing that will not work for Mac is the ACARS for the VA. There is why you have to. That is why you have to file a manual PIREP. We get on average, I would say, anywhere between 4 and 10 PIREPs from Mac and Linux guys in a day's time that I have to allow. It's it seems to be okay for the guys to do that, and that's just where you do it. You just go there. You obviously need to take notes of the times, the block fuel used, weights, things like that. It's basic stuff. And let's see if I open it manually. I don't want to lose my stuff. All right, so let's quickly talk about it. All right, the things that you should not change is this first line. Remember I said do not change flight numbers and stuff. Okay, we don't change things like that. Your flight time, you're going to put 1 hour, I don't know, 25 minutes. So that's block time basically. Your distance, you're going to put in 510 nautical miles, elevation 350. It tells you the airports and everything. Block fuel, it's easy enough to get the block fuel. Where do we have the block fuel? Block fuel is that's cargo block there. So it's 5,900. And if you did not write it down in the aircraft, it's easy enough to just go to your OFB. It should give you some indication here. 799 taxi fuel 59. Your trip fuel, there you go. So you can put, let's round it off to 3.5, 3,500. Over here you're going to put your passengers, that's 143. Cargo was 1,600. If you have any remarks you want us to be in the know of, you can just put the remarks in there. Let's just see. I think we filled in everything. It's really basic. It's just there to check that you're not lying, that you really did the thing. And what I would then suggest is click save the PIREP first. Once you save the PIREP, it takes you to a next page with a summary and your flight map and everything, and then you click submit the PIREP. I just feel more comfortable if I save it first, because if I click submit and it disappears into the blue yonder, how do I get it back? I don't know. Even I don't know. So I just save it first and then I go submit it. And that's it. That's how we do the manual PIREP. So all the guys on Mac, all the guys on Linux, you guys can use this facility. So coming back here, the next step I'll talk about just now. Let's look at the comments first. Okay, Flying Scotsman, I've got a lot of hours behind me and look forward to my first flight for the airline. Exactly. Wonderful. I want to just point out something quickly to you as well while we are here. We can transfer hours. So if you can send me a screenshot of hours, you can either start with 0 and then build up your ranks again through this VA, or we just log your transferred hours. I had a real pilot the other day ask me, can I put my real hours in here? And I did. I actually put it in there for him. I didn't see any reason why I shouldn't put the real pilot's hours not in there, There you go, Paul. That's it. Absolutely. Maybe one day we'll get a Mac client. It's a sore point for me that we don't have a Mac client. I never knew when we bought into the system that Mac wasn't supported, but it's too late now, so we're stuck. Hassan, good evening. Welcome. All right, Scotsman. I'm gonna quickly show you. Right? I just
Hey,
want to.
Nico.
Hello, hello. How are you, Leroy?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I just want to quickly open this thing here on screen to help Scotsman quickly. Alright, okay. So this is my folder containing my ACARS. Yeah, something like that should be sufficient, Scotsman. Okay, so how it works, let me just quickly kill the background there. How it works is when you download the ACARS from the VA, you just have to find it a home, all right, because it's not an installer. The folder itself contains all the files, and all you need to do, there's two steps, is you need to go find the acars.exe and you need to create the shortcut somewhere in your system. So as you can see, I've got a folder called explain stuff, and then other, and ACARS just resides in there. You can put it in your A drive, B drive, C drive, I don't care. It can go anywhere. Just remember it needs to be a permanent position. So just make it a safe permanent position. So you put the ACARS folder in there. The next step with explain is, you see explain folder over there. All you do is you go in there, you take the ACARS connect, go to your explain resources plugins folder and drop it. So I'm not going to do it now because I've already done mine, but you literally drag and drop it there. That is your client that connects and interfaces between explain and the VA, basically, at the ACARS program. The ACARS program in turn then talks to the VA website. So it's as easy as that. You take the download, you extract it somewhere permanent, go find the exe, drag and drop a shortcut for you so that it will run from that folder. And all you do is drop the explain thing in there, the explain plugin. Just drop it. The next time you start explain and you start your ACARS, the two will talk to each other, obviously. Hello, Uncle John.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm alright. I'm in the middle of a flight, I'm afraid.
Okay, no problem, no problem. You're always welcome to join us. I'm doing a quick tutorial again of how I do the VA. Just to show the guys how I handle the situation.
Yeah, that's useful because we've had one or two new guys anyway.
Yes.
So
yeah.
I'm sure it'll benefit those guys.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Excellent.
Right, so let's get back to where we are. All right, so we are now in this position. Okay. The moment you are on this page where you have access to these things that you see in front of us, this is where you want to be to start your flight. And now my lovely wife wants a word. Give me a second. Okay, you're welcome, Ian. Thank you, man. Thanks for asking. Guys, if there are anybody else who would like to ask questions, feel free. We are in the game of helping. We really want to do that. I just want to mention a couple of extra things. Okay, just talking about SimBrief, and just because it caught my eye now as I'm talking to my wife here. Do you see here download SimBrief flight plan? Okay, so there are a couple of ways of getting SimBrief. The dispatched flight plan into your system. Remember I showed you I use Navigraph because I want the SID and the star and the transitions and those things. But if you don't have that or you don't want that, you can obviously get the SimBrief downloader, right? And you can then predefine all the downloads that you want, the links where it needs to go to. And when you are ready, you just click on export. It literally downloads all the different formats specified into all the different folders. So each aircraft, each add-on gets its little download, right? That's true. Neil is your name. Yeah. So okay, so this is the one way. the other way of doing it is literally from this page. Again, this is directly interfacing with the API and with SimBrief. You can literally click whatever you want here, select Explain 11, click download. It will just bring up the normal download thing. It will put it in your download folder. All you need to do is go to your download folder in your Windows and pick it up and go drop it in the appropriate add-on. In our instance, it would be in Explain Output FMS Plans, So that's one way of doing it as well. If you are new to flying online, Mako was gracious enough to create this little scratch pad for us. So you can click on the scratch pad. You can obviously now type in as you speak to the ATC, flight level, I don't know, I make it 120. Your ATC gives you a heading. You can quickly put in a heading. You understand? You can type everything in here. You can even put remarks. It's all built into the system if you guys really want to use it. Then we've got the VA checklist. If you are new to the VA, use the VA checklist items. All right. At this point in time, when you are on this page, you need to launch the ACARS. Okay. So what we're going to do, I'm going to fire up this ACARS, and then we're going to talk through the ACARS. Okay, it's still thinking. There's the ACARS. So now we can tick it. We've launched the ACARS. Now it tells you check the sim weather matches, the weather information, all these things. We can start ticking it off. I know mine will, but you can then literally work through it. And there's your final reminder to send the flight plan, once you've completed your flight. So it's a handy little list of things that you can get there. So let's talk about the ACARS, just to make the clutter a little bit less. Okay, in the ACARS, very important, the first page tells you your current location. It tells you how many flights you've had, your total flight time, things like that. Then it gives you like a NOTAM, notice to airmen. That is what NOTAM means, guys, for those of you not familiar with the term. It's a real world term. That's how we get the information, from the authorities and powers that be. It's from a NOTAM. So this is just a little bit of a note that will come up every now and then in the actual dashboard. When you go into the VA, it will have multiple ones depending on how many we have. I'm not sure how many it can show at the same time. So there's your NOTAMs as well, and there you have it. Okay, so it's just another way to pick up some useful information that we want to share with you. Then there are a couple of ways to proceed. Because we have done the dispatch through SimBrief, there is an open flight waiting for us to happen. There is no point in going and creating a flight manually in here. What you need to do is you go to the little magnifying glass, you pick the flight, make sure you take the right one. If you created multiple bids, they're all going to lie in this area over here. So make sure you take the appropriate one and you click on load. The moment you get to the screen, you can go back and you can go check. This is exactly the way that it has been dispatched from SimBrief. Alright, same pack, same cargo load, same everything. What I do recommend is switch this thing. Ignore lights rules. It's highly irritating. Just switch it. We don't want to see that. Okay, you don't want to see it, we don't want to see it. Just switch it off. If you forget, tough luck, we're not going to cry, but this is handy, and I'll show you why. The moment you start your flight, and you have to click that button to start your flight so that it starts tracking you, and you have to do that before pushback. Okay, the moment you start pushing back and your brakes are released, you're going to have to park somewhere again and set the parking brake and then start the flight. Okay, so just be wary of that. What's going to happen is it's going to switch to this page. There you can see the map, and there you can actually see other guys flying now. You can see their details just by hovering the mouse over them. This is your magic black box for the VA. It records everything it needs to, plus a little bit more, and this is how we can verify via ACARS that you've done the route. It will also then change the color or add another line. I actually think it makes a white line on top of the yellow line as you fly. Okay, and it records everything in here. Once you are done, you see this little emblem over there, that's obviously it's now saying start flight. So that one and this one, this button, they're basically the same thing, just in two different places. Once you are done, this will have an end flight instead of start flight word on it. You end the flight, it will give you a summary, and then that same button is going to change into file flight, and then all you do is you click on file flight. The moment you file flight, it will talk to the website, it will do the transaction, it will come up with a notice, PyRep has been filed, and then you can close everything, and then you know your obligation is done and the file should be in the system. And that's it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this to the side, and I'm going to start my normal routine, the basic stuff to get going. So I just need to make sure everything is open that should be open. I'm going to start my IVAO client, and I'm going to start my explain. Guys, I hope it's helpful if I explain everything like this. I'll put it under the VA section in my YouTube channel. This is just the way I do it. Again, just to remind you, it's not about right and wrong. It's the way I do it. I find it works for me, and if it works for you, you know, happiness is.
And if maybe tomorrow you forgot some of it, just open the video up and then you can watch it all over again.
Absolutely. Thank you, Uncle John. Yeah, 100% correct. Runidev, what do you mean what happened? Nothing happened. We've been chatting and having a swell fun time tonight. Nothing strange happened. We've just been talking a lot. Alright, so new flight. Let's go find our little aircraft and go find a parking. I've got a strange feeling we need to go somewhere there. Don't know why, but I think. Let's take 102. Yeah, you're welcome, Scotsman, and obviously ask your questions. You know, while the guys are here on Discord, and remember now, we've got guys on this Discord almost 24/7, because once the Australians wake up, they join, then they go off, then the guys here in the middle, us and the UK, get up, and then you know we sit here until wee hours, and then the Americans wake up. So there's like a wide spectrum of guys on here, and most of the guys are familiar with it. So if you need to ask a question, just pop in and say, hey, what about this? Please help.
Nico, it's not my fault I can't sleep.
Oh, you see. Yeah. Well, Uncle John, thank you for your service.
I can attest to that one. He's always been helpful to me for sure.
Yeah, and when we go to sleep, Leroy takes over. That was him talking now. He's just as good. Hi, Leroy.
Hey, Nico.
Yeah, it's nice, man. We've got a nice community going, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a wonderful team. I definitely feel I always enjoy flying. I'm actually just getting my ACARS situated actually, and your video couldn't have come at a much better time.
Good stuff. Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, a couple of guys were talking this morning. I said, you know what, when I do my next stream tonight, let's talk about it. Anytime, Scotsman, anytime. Guys, tomorrow is a public holiday because of the voting that happens in the country now, the by-elections for the municipal guys and stuff. That's I'm not sure if I'm going to fly. And the reason is that I've got a lot of work. I'm actually thinking in between voting and everything, I'm literally going to work as if it's a normal working day. I've just got too much work for this week that I can't fit in. So if I stream, you know, it will happen. If I don't stream, it won't happen. Just bear that in mind. I'll probably just do it, use it as a normal work day.
Good day, sir. Please start the ACARS.
All right, please start the ACARS. Thank you, Linda. So all I do right now is I just click on start flight. And sorry, I missed it. I clicked on the start flight and it was just too quick to switch over, but there you go. It immediately identifies where I am. It immediately connects to the system. Scotsman, there's one more thing that I did not mention. When you set up, there's two more things. When you set up this thing, please make sure that check beta versions for the updates is actually enabled, restarted. Make sure, because this thing updates a lot. Some weeks we get 3 and 4 updates. Some weeks we don't get a single one. But just make sure it's set to update automatically. And then the other thing is specify your simulator. And then what you also need to do is once it's done, you need to sync your scenery, because the ACARS needs to know where you're at. You see there it identifies where I'm at. What do you call it? The flight plan as such and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that happens behind the scenes that it needs to load into. You see it loaded the airports and everything. So just to remember that. Alright, so if you zoom out a little bit, there you can see all the Skymatix pilots that are currently flying, and like I said, you just hover over them. My one won't show because it's me. You can get the other detail right there. The reason I'm using OpenGL is because I forgot to switch to Vulkan, to be honest. What happened was I was fiddling with the Skunkcrafters updater, and the moment I enabled it, it actually crashed me out. So we'll go back to Vulkan the next time. It actually came up, it crashed, explained to desktop, and had a whole big hoo-ha about it. I had to restart it and then run the Skunkcrafters updater. Once that was done, I disabled that, and I completely forgot to put it back onto Vulkan. Now I've done it. Thank you, Noel, for reminding me. The URL for the ACARS is, let me show you. Hang on. Is this one. It's the same as the website. So it's https://va.skymatix.online. Alright, so it's the website one there. Your API key you're going to get in your admin, sorry, not admin, profile. In your profile, just read through the profile there, you'll pick it up there. And don't share the API key with anybody. I just realized mine was open on the net. I'll have to get a new one later, but anyway, just one of those things. See, if you log a flight on an API key, you can put hours onto someone else's account, basically. That's all. You can't take anything away, but if you have the wrong API key and you're flying for me, I'll end up with more flying time and you'll have nothing. Alright, so while we're waiting, let's quickly go to the developer and reload the aircraft route again. Well, Scotsman, the sooner you ask them, the sooner it gets answered, the sooner you fly without hassle. There's pros to it all. Alright.
Good day, sir. Please start the ACARS.
It's done, Linda. Thank you so much. We've just reloaded. There's our gate coming. And alright, so from here on, now we can basically start setting up. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that OFP, and I need to just pick it up on my OBS here. MSH. Oh, it's minimized, that's why I can't see it. Why? Okay, hang on. I need to pick that thing up. Probably need to merge it with the other system then. Not sure. Let's have a go again. Got it. Got it, got it, got it. So let's try and move it now. It's that one, and let's see. There we go. Alright, so got it. You see, now all I do now is I go to my OFP. If you're holding your control key on the keyboard and scroll with your mouse, you can zoom in a little bit. It'll make it a bit bigger if you're struggling to read it. Then we're going to look at 16.5 and 5.9. So payload is 16.5. Oops. 16,500. So that's 164. 1405. Okay, and the guys that don't understand what I'm doing, you'll have to watch some of the other training videos. I'm just taking 500 kilograms from the front, putting it in the back so I've got a more stable landing CG. That's all that's about. Right, then we're going to put 5.9 into the fuel and start loading. Right, so again, that's kind of default. Okay, while we are doing a bit of a tutorial, I'm just going to quickly do this with you as well. Because, I mean, I'm going to have to do it for myself, so I might as well show you guys how I do it. So what I'm going to do, I've got a little nav map running over here. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to Edge. I'm going to find my flight route. I can just pick it up from here. It's the easiest when I'm in this position. So I'm copying that, Control C. And then I'm coming here to the flight plan, new flight plan from the route description. Click that one. Read the route description. It does not like you actually having the runway, so that's why we've got the red. So we can take that out. You see, all done. Now we create the flight plan. There you go. And I'm gonna click File, Save Map as Image for Avitab. Click OK. It goes and finds the appropriate folder for you. And now you must just remember the name, because the naming convention changed. He's now using the IATA codes, this programmer, instead of the ICAO codes, which for the life of me I cannot imagine why any pilot would want to do that. But anyway, LIEO to CFO, there you go. So it's saved. We can exit without saving. Then we go to Avitab, Maps, Mercator, and then go find that thing, LIEO CFU. And there you go. There's your map. So that's set up. That's now done, out of the way. We can quickly go and do all the doors and stuff while everything is loading. Let's go get the control widget. There you go. Happiness is, let me just quickly get rid of the front stairs because we've got the jetway. We don't need the front stairs. And we can continue. So let's check. We've got the power over there. We don't need the ground power from the EFP. Batteries, ground power, and emergency lights. Then let's set up the rest of the lights. Right, once we get the white light there flashing, there we go. And there we go. We can switch on the yaw damper, switch off the flashlight. Window heat.
Ground flight deck fuel is all loaded up and you are good to go.
Thank you so much. Compass light. That's it for now. The rest we're going to do in our flow. Alright, let's leave that there. Let's go to the FMC. Route. So this is now going to be LIEO. And we are going to LGKR. LGKR. LIEO. LGKR. And activate. Execute. Departure arrival. You see now it's already including the runway and the SID. Then we go to the arrival side. On nav34. And that's the one we want. And BATOX is exactly what we planned earlier, if you guys remember correctly. Then we can actually step through. While we are here, let's just check the current QNH altimeter setting 1009. Step through. And I'm going to do it again just to make sure that it's fine. Right, the one thing that you don't want is for something to move forward and then jump back, because then you've got a wrong programming in the leg there. And then also you want to check for doubles, and, discontinuities, vectors, things like that. So let's do it a bit slower. Seems fine now. And there's the go around. And I'm happy. Remember guys, it's very important, do not rely on automation. You have to step through the plan like that, make sure that it doesn't jump around and do funny things. By the time you get to that wrong waypoint and this aircraft starts turning 180 degrees around to go chase something that's behind it, you've lost it. You're not ahead of the aircraft anymore. Or when you get to a position where there's a discontinuity and this aircraft doesn't know what to do, it's going to be a bit late for you to start panicking. It's better to get it sorted on the ground before you go. So let's get back to edge. We have A0 fuel weight is 59.6 and we have 59.6 takeoff weight 65.4. We're at 65.5. Extra 100 kilograms is taxi fuel, so we are happy. Right, then if we look at the alternate plus fin res, I'm just going to quickly round it off. That is approximately 2.1 tons. I don't mind if I'm not 100% accurate there, as long as it's close enough, it's fine. Cost index for the company is 20, like we said, and then if we read there, that is our cruise altitude, so it's 350. And over there, I'm just going to take the average winds and stuff. When we do really long flights and stuff, it's nice to go and fiddle and find other values and play with the route information and route data. I'm not too phased about it. The observation here was made at 12 noon today. We are already at 17, so it's like 5 hours ago already. So the chances of any of the winds being legitimate in this OFP is very slim. It's literally just a hint. So we just need to keep it at that. No, yeah. Better to panic on the ground. Absolutely. You can always find someone to help you on the ground still, but in there it's different. And if your co-pilot just took some what can we call it, tranquilizers to keep herself, composed, then you're even in more trouble. So yeah, it's better to panic over here. Right, then the ISA is to execute. Alright, okay. 1899, I'm not even gonna derate this. This is perfectly fine. We don't need more than that. Flaps, CG. There you go. So we want 5.5 on the trim and 147 in the speed. Right. Alright, for those of you that do not have Linda, guys, the tolerance here is supposed to be 0.5. So if that thing says 5.5 and you don't know where 5.5 is, I mean, you've got to guess. Just put it in the middle, obviously, somewhere. But if you are within 0.5 of what is required there, you should not get a warning that the trim is wrong during takeoff. So I'm going to guess. So, and then the next step that I do is I actually tell Linda to go and set it. And as you can see, this time she's not even attempting to set it because it's been set already. If it's wrong, I'll move it. I'll show you.
Trim up.
Now she detects it's wrong and now she puts it back in place. So that's just how I do it again. 147, 5.5, and we can go to the progress pages. Right, so at this point in time, I think we can actually start getting the doors closed and starting the APU. 1, 2, 3. Right, let's run through the overhead. We've done that. Yeah, she's nice tonight, eh? Right, let's put the logo on. Let's put the wheel well light on. Just looks nicer. Then we've got 350 over there. Our landing altitude. This is now where we quickly just go back to the VA website and we go grab that airport. I know we looked at it earlier. Can't remember what it was. 5. So we are literally going to set this to 0. So that is done. That is the landing altitude. Let's reset this browser picture. There we go. Right, APU is on. Right, our doors are still open. Now with the new SAM, I don't want to fiddle with the first door. I've got a keyboard shortcut set up for all my doors. So what I'm going to do is just close them from my keyboard shortcuts. We're going to leave the forward entry open because in the new SAM it toggles it for us. And if I close it now, it's going to open it again because it's just a dumb toggle switch. What we can then also do is we can... Hang on a second. I need to just familiarize myself again.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go.
I'm glad, Neil. I am really glad. So we're taking off 05. We need to push this way.
Ground to cockpit. Toe is trailing up.
Right, so we're just going to keep an eye on that one. If it doesn't close it, I mean, I'll keep an eye there. You see it's open. Then we'll just do it when we need to. Toggle it ourselves then. Alright, I just want to quickly talk to you guys about this. Obviously, if we set this little switch in the beginning, it gives us the countdown timer for the alignment of the IRS. But if we move it one back there, it actually gives us the wind. Bit of information. I've got a trim setting in my yoke. Let me show that to you quickly. Joystick. You see over here, pitch trim up and pitch trim down. So it's button number 6 over there and button number 5. That is for pitch trim up is number 5, pulling it back towards me, and number 6, yeah, that's pitch trim down, and that's how I set my trim. Alright, there are other ways of setting up the trim as well. If you use on the alpha yoke, for instance, that I've got, if you use both, thank you, if you use both trims like there, okay, you see there, if you set it up in X-Plane to make use of it like in the real aircraft, what I find is it obviously becomes a little bit more real than it is now, and then a lot of guys can't cope with it, so I just keep it simple myself as well. Ouch, Scotsman, that's terrible, man. Okay, so next step, let's put the RTO on. We go for all the other little switches. Need to set up this MCP. Hold your horses, uncle, hold your horses, we'll get there. So we're going to take off on runway 5, which has got a 053, and you can see there it's set to 053. We're going to climb 350, so that's all in place. I'm not going to worry about the course headings. RTO is definitely set. So let's ask Linda before start procedure. She's not listening now. She's going to bomb again. Then I'm going to be furious. Yeah, there she's bombed out. So we're not even going to try and restart her, because the next thing that she does is she crashes the whole of X-Plane. So Tata Linda, you go and rest that side. Okay, on my system, this usually happens when I forget to start the Microsoft voice recognition before starting X-Plane. I don't know why mine does that, but it does it, and I clearly forgot. So then X-Plane starts it itself, and it's like something just doesn't work. It just doesn't like it. So forget about Linda. We're gonna do everything ourselves then quickly. Yeah, I think she's okay, to be honest. It's this lousy speech recognition that does funny things on my system, unfortunately. Right, so we've got the pressurization set, we've got APU set. Krista, I did. Let me just double check. Yes, I did. There it is. All started. I'm not going to fly an LIEO now, by the way, so... Steve, nope. No assignment issues since the last update. What exactly do you mean? Mine just works as usual. All of my stuff works as usual, so you need to be more specific. Okay, I think we've done everything. No, we haven't. We need to quickly just check that everything is lighting up. That's fine. Go to the map. And let's go. Thank you so much. We can start the engines. Yeah, take your time, Scotsman. Thank you. Take your time. How's it, Gary? I never saw you come in.
I was quiet. I'm
Yeah.
here.
Good.
Operation complete. Set parking brake. Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
See, my door is open. You guys see there, it never closed it, so I'm just gonna close that. So it didn't do the toggle again tonight, but anyway, we'll just keep an eye on that and do what we need to do. So as long as there's no lights on right now, I'm happy. Right, I think we are all set.
Tow is disconnected and bypass payload is removed. End signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Flaps 5 set.
Speed brake will only work via toe brake or rudder. I don't understand what speed brake's got to do with any one of those. But no, nothing. I don't know. Reboot your machine. Because, I mean, Zibo didn't change anything of that nature. The only thing he's been working on literally in the last 2 updates has been this auto-save feature. You know, and I don't know. You'll have to come and show us here on Discord. Share your screen then. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, as long as the plane turns. Okay, Paul, enjoy. I'm envious. Would have loved to walk on the beach this evening, I must be honest. So, here we go. We're ready. Let's go. There's the brake check. So that's working. Hello, Owen. I can see I'm able to turn at least at this stage still. Yeah, let's do that. Good options, those ones, Christer. Anytime, Scotsman. Yeah, we've basically covered what we need to do. If you can be back in about an hour or so's time, we can cover, you know, what you do afterwards, you know, after the flight. But we basically covered most of everything we needed. Absolutely. Yeah, watch the takeoff. That'll be nice.
Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff, please.
secured. Have a good flight.
Boarding is now complete. Flight attendants prepare the cabins. Verify arm door standby for all call.
I'll close that door now. You see now everything is out of sequence because Linda didn't work. Ach, Trish, you're so wonderful. I see she's gonna close it. She should. Yeah, close. Thank you. Excellent. Good news, Neil. Right, I think we're ready to go.
Approaching 05.
Stabilized.
Thank you so much. So far, so good.
On runway 05.
Toga.
Takeoff thrust set. Knots. Throttle hold. V1. Rotate. Positive rate.
Come on, eh?
Runway turn off, lights off. Taxi lights off.
Feels awesome too. Yeah, this is gonna be nice. So far, so good. Right, we're going out over the open water, so not much to see now for a while, and then the last stretch will also be over water until we get to base. This is a simple question, but do the guys actually land at Corfu at night? Is it actually done in real world? I'm not even sure.
Approaching transition. Transition altitude.
Well, I hope they've got lights on the runway because I'm doing the RNAV, so I can get pretty close. But yeah, well, we're gonna take some artistic license tonight then. So yeah, one of those things, Christer. Ah, I'll have to phone ahead. I'll ask one of my minions to switch them on when you're not looking. Guys, we've been at this for quite some time, 1 hour and 46 minutes. I think it's a good time for us to all go take a little boys' room break and maybe get some coffee and all. So let's see each other in about 5 minutes or so again, maybe 10 minutes, you know. Nothing's major's going to happen. The aircraft's just climbing, so I think it's a good time to just take a 5 or 10 minute break. We'll see you guys shortly.
Have you always wanted to be a pilot?
Okay, guys, I'm back.
Nico's back.
By the sounds of it, you too. How are you, Uncle John?
Yeah, I'm fine. I've just started my last flight for this month.
Mm. Thunder, let me clarify it for you. Where's my IVO client? Let me show you quickly. Right, so at the end of the day, what you want is this number where it says call sign. That number needs to correspond to what you have in the VA. Alright, so what happens is when I have the zero, the extra zero, it's now Skymatix 0001. It's like a tongue twister. So I take the zero out. So now when I use my call sign, it's just Skymatix 001, which is more, closer to the real world counterpart. So in your instance, I would just say Skymatix 888, whatever, in that example that you put there. The zero is, neither here nor there for the IVO thing. But what is very important is that whatever your call sign is here needs to be the call sign that you have on your flight plan. Because the moment I click on connect now, and it doesn't find that call sign, it will say, basically it will stay red, no flight plan. So it's imperative that that call sign is exactly what you want it to be on the air when you get called or use it, and then it must match the one in your flight plan. That's all it is.
Thousand to level off.
1,000 to go.
Well, just at a quick glance, it seems there's about 59 minutes left of flight time. So it's going to take a wee while to get there. At least we're almost in the cruise now. Owen, Christer, as a matter of interest, if you go on YouTube and you type in Corfu night landing, you can actually see some of the videos. I just checked it just to, satisfy my own curiosity. Yeah, you can't put any URLs into my chat, unfortunately. it's not every day that we have a long enough flight where we can actually go and change these values in the route data section. Right, let's look at this ISA thing again. Reset. Okay, a quick tip. Obviously, some time has now passed. So if we go to the arrival METAR and weather page, this could be old. So quick tip, just press F5. It will literally reload the page in place, and that should give you the latest METAR. Alright, so to set up the ISA deviation like we have there, we are going to quickly look at temperature. The elevation won't change, but the temperature is now 15. Right, so that's 0. That there could be a chance it could change by 1 degree. We're not too worried about that. So 0, and then the QNH is 1015. And then we need to go to our OFB again and get the winds for the descent. V39 517. Right, so that takes care of that for us. We're at 2.2 when we land, currently 3.8, so that's like 1.6 tons. Okay, from the chart, let's see. I can make it fit. Let's start from the side. 53 is what we have. Final approach course 340. It's going to be an RNAV approach. Right. For the go around, we need to climb to 4000. Need to try and remember that. We're going to come in here by BATOX, follow the RNAV down, and at the MDA we're going to have... Reinhard, stop it! We're going to have to fly down from MDA, and we should be close enough to do all of that visual. There isn't major issues I see in the METAR, so we'll see. Right, our MDA is 770. Alright, and because it's an MDA, we're going to add 40, so we'll make it 810. Just for that extra margin. 810. I just want to check the QNH in active sky because we did check it on the website now. Just want to see what active sky says. 1015. Right, 1015. We've got the minimums, we've got the VREV. All of this is set. Let's go for auto brake 3. Right, so far so good, gentlemen. You guys on Discord, are you still alive? Are you still, not asleep? I see a lot of you have muted, unfortunately, but Gary, Bjorn, Uncle John, Rab, anybody home?
Apologies.
Okay, speak again.
Now I've emptied my mouth. Yes, I'm eating.
Okay, I just had a little sandwich as well. I'm glad you're still here. Thunder says he's there as well on stream. Oh, what are you eating, Uncle John? Yeah.
Lasagna, homemade, that I made myself,
Okay.
with salad.
Okay, cool. Christer, I'll hear me. I'll go for 4. I've landed here a few times on 3, but we'll do 4 just for you tonight. Yeah, we need to also still set this down to 1,700. 1,700 is intercept. But what I'm gonna do is I'm in fact going to go down to 900. Okay, so we'll make use of LNAV, maybe Ian to get us down there. Let's have a look, see if we've got some guidance. And then by 8:10 we obviously need to make our decision whether we're landing or not. So yeah, that's done. I know because of the offset that we probably are going to get Ian only on the very last little bit, but we'll see what happens. Hey John, yeah, thank you so much. Other John there from Greece, much appreciated. Thank you guys for sticking around. I think the big sports is obviously going to come at the landing, so I don't mind if you guys do your own thing, make coffee, walk around, all those other things. It's just nice every now and then to see some life somewhere or to hear something. It can be a floater for sure. It can be. I think one of the tricks is to come in low. You have to be slightly below the poppy to land in the block, and then you should be fine. I don't do a lot of night flying. I think we'll do more now with winter in the northern hemisphere, but I'm not used to flying at night anymore. I must get more practice. Uncle John, at least I've got some coffee. We're getting there. True. Yeah, we don't want to crash, but we want to be low enough that we can put it in the block. Otherwise, we're going to have to push it down and get a bit of a harder landing than usual. About 40 minutes. Thunder hardly ever. When ATC tells me, you know, at my discretion, and I see I'm still 20, 30 miles away from top of descent, I like to use it. I can use it tonight because of us talking about it, but no, I just leave VNAV to do its thing. Usually.
Evening.
Hello, hello, hello.
So there were not a lot of people on Discord.
They've come and gone, eh?
Yeah.
Lots
Okay,
of guys come and go. Scotsman, it's the layout of the buttons and the revision of the firmware. U14, I think, is the A2, and U13 will be the A1. So it's the layout. We can do that, Thunder. We can do that.
Can you believe I fed my cat today?
I haven't used the offset in a while. And now Mac is now muted. Let's quickly see TOPNO root offset. Yeah, I've grown used to it as well. I'll have to go read up on this offset again now. Wanted to quickly do a bit of an offset. It says distance 0, 10. Not sure. Zibo, where art thou? 1. I have to go read up on this. We tested this thing months ago. It's obviously not doing what I think it should do. Let's quickly try this. Hold on. While we are playing, let's play nicely. Display variants, FMC A1. That doesn't change this page unless we need to toggle it. Offset distance. Mac, if you're lurking, what's the proper input for offset again? Damn it. Obviously none of these are working. Anyway, there you can see the difference. You see climb, cruise, descent. This is A1. If we go to A2 now, you see now it's got a VNAV button that replaced all the others. There we go. So it helps if you actually just go and read up. Okay, so what we want to do, we want to set up an offset. So instead of flying on the magenta line, we want to kind of crinkle along it. So what we can do is we can now put in MOKTO. MOKTO, that's where we start. And we are going to stop at KAPPO. KAPPO. Execute. Right, so now you'll see there it's going to go onto that path, or it's supposed to, and then fly there instead of being on this magenta line until we cancel it. Now there's the top of descent, so this might not be the appropriate place to have done it. I'm sure we can change it, but anyway, okay, so the idea is this: you have to do the offset by specifying left or right. At this time we obviously set right. And then we have to tell the offset, the distance from the magenta line. I wonder if it's going to actually take it now. It might be that we had to do it from the next set, but we'll see. We'll see now. Yeah, I think we should have done it from the next set. But anyway, okay. You get the idea. So you guys can go and play with that. I'm glad I've gone and read up a little bit again. Ha! I'll just delete this. Delete, brother. Delete, delete, delete. So I need to read a little bit more. There's obviously a bunch of rules that you need to follow, and I think one of them is we were supposed to take not the first but the second and third waypoints is the ones that you usually take. Something to that effect, if memory serves me well. Just have to read a little bit more. Maybe let's just try it one more time. Yeah, we've got the detail, we've got the time. So offset. So we're going to go, let's take left 2. Okay. We're going to start at NOSTO. NOSTO. Right. KRK 33. Okay. Okay. I don't know. Let's have a go. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. One of the things that does bother me is the fact that it tries to do it from KAPPO. I don't want it from KAPPO. I want it from NOSTO to there. Okay. It could also be, just in hindsight now that I'm thinking out loud, could also be that with the change over to the C++ code, Zibo has not brought this over yet. It could simply be that it's not working because the C++ isn't done. That could be the other reason why it's not working. Could very well be that. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna leave it. If it works, it works. Otherwise, I'll just ask Zibo. But in theory, what I said, the theory is correct. It's just the execution of it that's looking a bit wonky.
Do you see where I'm at, Nico?
If I actually go have a look, I might. Oh, okay, yeah, cool.
A very short flight.
You are in Brindisi.
Yeah.
That's the man. There's Owen. Brindisi.
See who's first.
I think I'm gonna beat you.
I don't have the F-35 now.
No, I see, I see.
You're not in IVEO, huh?
No.
I fly nearly all my flights in IVEO.
Yeah, I like doing it as well, Owen, but I can't remember why I didn't do it tonight. I think it's because of the tutorial. Things just, stretched out a little bit longer that I was, thinking of in the beginning. I'm already
Yeah,
streaming,
I just do it for the sake of training, huh?
of course.
Also for setting up that IVEO, etc.
Yeah. I've been streaming over 2.5 hours already. We don't want to take up everybody's, whole Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay, it seems that this part of the code is not working, so we'll just cancel it. Make sure we don't get other issues from it. Or now we know.
I love to fly.
Ja, even een ander dingetje.
Okay, so a little bit of a twist at the end here. We've spoken about it twice. I've mentioned it twice, but basically what happens is our approach course is 340, but the final approach course of the runway is 345. So there's like this little kink that you need to make because of the terrain in the area. So we're going to do our best tonight to get past that. In actual fact, let's go to the terrain radar. That looks like the runway over there already. We just need to fly around it, around the terrain and turn back. That's the runway, or at least the leader line. That's the runway. We'll see. Somewhere there.
Yeah, in fact, you're coming in skew, eh? A bit skew. Or how do you call that?
Yeah, exactly. 5 degrees. Thanks, Scotsman. That's good advice, sir. Yes, Krister, absolutely. I'll keep my courses on 340, but I'm gonna remind myself there with 345 for the runway. I don't have a FO that can set that for me, so we'll just keep it like that. It's not gonna make a difference when we use Ian or not, or LNAV, ENAV, it's irrelevant. But for the go around and for the landing, it is important, so yeah, we'll keep it like that.
Approaching transition.
Let's check, see if we've still got the right QNH. Correct, hasn't changed. Yeah, well, if you have to plant it, you have to plant it, Krister. You know, the only people that complain or might think it's wrong are the flight simmers, you know, they don't know any better. But you have to do what you have to do, you know. One of those things. Right, so I've stowed my trays, I've sat upright. So just need to get in line and get my feet on these rudders and then we're to go. Almost there. Yep, exactly.
Flaps 1 set.
Yeah, that's the runway.
I'm back.
Right, feet on the rudder, keep still, keep still. There we go. I shall try my best under.
Flaps 5 set. Thousand to level off. Flaps 15 set. Flaps 30 set. Thousand to level off.
Hello, thumbs, guys. Let's see. I hope I can do this. Thanks, Owen.
2500.
Yeah, definitely it's not. Ha! Yeah, definitely. Let's see how far Ian takes us. Right, I will disconnect as soon as I see trouble. Gotcha, Owen. Success for you as well. Look how skew that runway is. Got a pretty good idea. I need to start thinking of disconnecting. Must be honest. Thanks so much. Thank you.
1000.
1,000 feet, stabilized, Mr.
1,000 to level off.
Approaching minimums.
Ah, went over the line there. Damn it.
Approaching 3-5.
Kinda overshot that. Just need to lift the nose slightly. Auto throttle goes off as well. Hmm.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Speed break up.
Oh, that wasn't too bad.
Yeah, beautiful.
$194. That wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
That was really
Brilliant
not too
landing.
bad.
Nice one, sir.
Whew.
Hard to keep track of that runway, huh?
Yeah. I oversteered a little bit, eh?
Even in daylight, it's very hard.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Just want to get over the line so we can do the after landing thing. Right. Thanks, gents. Thank you. It was fun. It was lovely, I tell you. Nerve-wracking, kind of works on your nerves, but it's okay. It's okay. We made it. Thank you, John. Right, so I'm as blind as a bat. Well, that's maybe not the right way of saying it. It means what I want to say is I don't know where to taxi. I really don't know where to taxi. So let's quickly just LGKR. Let's see if we can find some taxiways of some sorts here. So let's go there. Let's go park. Oh, why do you do that? Undo. Go there. Oh, maybe it's because it's wrong. Suppose. Let's go there and there then. And then you want to throw me there. Come on.
Nico, have a quick look at my stream on Discord.
Let me just connect. Yeah, I can see. What did you
See
break?
that? You see that loop?
Yeah, what did you break?
I
So-
didn't break
Yeah,
anything.
I'm just kidding.
Just,
Well, you must take BATOX. Take the BATOX transition. You don't. You click on
Oh,
BATOX. Click on BATOX. That's what I did. Okay, so well, whatever. Let's take. Let's take.
it's the BATOX. This is the BATOX.
But you didn't select it. It's not selected. Click BATOX on the.
I did that.
No, on the right hand side. The transition on the right hand side. There.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
Oh, that's it now.
Yes, sir. Okay, well, let's go feel our way there. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see if we can find this freaking parking spot. I know, Anthony, and anyway, if I don't come right, I'm just gonna park anyway, you know. I mean, it's not as if I'm gonna get marked on it, you know. I might actually take the one on the left now, just because I feel like it, instead of the one on the right.
Jesus, what's it doing?
I don't know, like I say, I'm just gonna park here. The tug can come and pull and push me to wherever they want me to go next time, so Scotsman. You know what, Anthony, let him bring the tug, let him come and show me, then I'll just say, now I know for the next time, you know. That's how we do it.
Hello guys.
Hello, hello. Righto, that's gone down, that's fine, and deletion.
Does Zibo 737 have ACARS?
What ACARS are you looking for?
You're writing how I fly plane.
No, you don't do it from Zibo, you do it from your IVEO or your VATSIM client. I agree, Anthony. It's easier, better to ask forgiveness than to ask permission.
Okay.
I'm not sure why we don't have the front and the aft stairs. Huh. Not sure. Anyway, good enough. Guys, girls, I hope you liked it. I'm going to show you how to finish off the flight in the ACARS as the last portion of this training, and then I hope you guys go and enjoy it on your own. Let's see. So there we are. Engine 2 and engine 1 is stopped. The beacon's turned off, taxi lights off, everything is fine. So all we do is we click on that little button, end the flight. Right, so there's a little summary and you can read through it, and it even gives you your landing rate and stuff, and then you just click file flight. Alright, PyRep has been filed, okay, and close, end of story. So when we go to the website and we go to the dashboard now, you'll see over there is your flight. I just want to quickly make it nice big full screen. There you go, there's your whole story. It's complaining about my block field being a little bit lower than required. I don't care, it doesn't matter. If we actually click on the identification of the flight, you'll see the route and you'll get all the rest of the stories that you might want to have a look at. So I know some of these things don't work. I'm just not sure which one. Okay, SimBrief OFP, there it saves your SimBrief OFP for the flight, PyRep information, and that's it. So it seems it's been fixed. And that's how you do the flight. That's how I do the flight in the VA. And I mean, like I said, it's not about right and wrong. You guys, obviously, if you have a different way of doing it, as long as you get to the same results, you know, I'm happy. But for me, this is the easiest way. I calculated everything to work for myself. So, all good. All good. Sure. Okay. I'm tired now. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you'll excuse me, I'll stop the stream and we'll talk in the week sometime again. Thank you so much for watching and support and all the other things that you guys bring to the table as well. Enjoy. Bye-bye.